Hey YouTube, it's SoulPrime13 with another video review. Today we're going to be taking a look at a third-party figure, the DX9 Red Storm, which is their take on a Masterpiece Sideswipe. And here we will take a quick look at the packaging first. So we got digital XL9 Toys D21, I don't know. Hungshan Pine, understanding the way of life, indomitable, whatever that is supposed to mean. Nothing really on the side or that side. Got the logo and name and a render of the vehicle. Then legal jargon. And then we got some tech, what's the word? Like blueprint line art kind of stuff going on here. Strive to be yourself, inner dream, eternal hobby. I think they spelled eternal wrong. And then we got QR codes here. The instructions are through the QR codes. There are no physical instructions, which I am very much not a fan of. I like to have physical instructions. I actually got the APC bulkhead with the hammer at the same time as this guy, and he didn't have physical instructions either, so not really thrilled about that. I like to have physical instruction booklets. But that aside, we get a few accessories. We get this collector's card. Come on, down the table. And it does include these little red mirror pieces. There's the other one. That just peg into these little holes right here on the front. I'm not going to bother with them because that's just another thing to fall off and get lost, and they don't really matter too much to me. Scoot the camera a little bit here. He does come with a couple weapons, as they also fall off the table. Comes with his blaster. So there's that. His shoulder launcher. And not one, but two of these little sledgehammer accessories. They have an extending handle, and essentially these pieces pop off to become his wrist-mounted jackhammer stuff. So there is that. Feeling all these pieces like snapping together weird. It's making me nervous. But there's that. And we'll just put all that off to the side. And for a quick size comparison, here he is next to the official Hasbro Sideswipe mold, because I don't actually have the red one. But there is that. You get an idea of how he stacks up. Good size. Looks nice. So there is that. And there are a few little tricks and gimmicks to the vehicle mode. First we'll take a look at how he rolls. He does roll okay, not amazing. The front wheels do kind of hit against the front fender piece a little bit, but he rolls okay. They do have real rubber tires, and they're actually extremely soft and likely to smudge around while you're trying to transform him, so be aware of that. He does have one neat little thing. He has flip-up headlights. So yeah, he can flash you. And we got some nice paint details for the tail lights here. Some black paint there for these air intakes. And some transparent for the windshield and these other headlights. And a little bit of silver on the front. So there is that. But that's about it for the vehicle mode. So now let's get into the transformation. So the transformation is pretty much like not the best part, but you want to pull these wheels out like so, and like so, and just sort of give these panels a little tug here. like so. Then we're going to come back here and you're going to put your finger under this whole black section and pull that up like so. And you sort of want to kind of wiggle your finger under there and get this to detach from the roof. You want to be careful because this is a thin piece of plastic and you're pretty much having to strain it up. You don't want to break it. This does have some strain and clearance issues. That's pretty much the biggest issue I have with this figure, is the transformation has definitely has some issues. But anyway, we're going to see. I want to make sure that I'm getting all this, make sure it's all detached. And we want to come here to the front, and you can sort of see this middle section there are two little tabs next to those silver lights. You want to pull up and get them untabbed and then pull them forward. Just gonna rinse and repeat. Get that up and pull this whole thing forward. And basically you're gonna grab the front of the vehicle and then pull the back part down like so. Once you do that, you can start moving these legs out. You want to pull them up and then out to the side because all this stuff here goes over this middle section piece. But you're going to bring these down like so. And you're going to rotate this whole assembly out to the side as far as you can. You're going to fold the wheel up. Then you're going to sort of push this section down a little bit and then bring this blue transparent piece in. There's basically a super tiny but super snug lip right here. You basically want to pull it out so you can wrap it around, and then you're going to fold it in. And then you want to make sure this is all out of the way, and you're going to fold this up and inside the leg like so. And the tire might catch a little bit, just give it a nice little push. That part isn't too bad, it'll hold. Then you're going to unfold this whole black section here like this, and you're going to bring this up. There's a little divot right here that's going to slide under this red tab like so. And then there's a peg, and then there's a little hole right here, and then there's another tab and slot here on the side like so. Just make sure that all goes in like that. And there is actually a little section here cut out for the mirrors, but like I said, I'm not going to bother putting them on. Anyway, now you take the foot and you rotate it around, and the toes are die cast, so there's that. Then you want to grab the waist and then the thigh and rotate the leg 180. The thighs are very snug, so you want to make sure you grab the waist. Don't just try and twist the leg by itself. Anyway, we're just going to rinse and repeat. We're going to fold that wheel in, pull this out, and then fold the window in. Get this out of the way, get this around. And folding that part is one of the clearance issues that kind of bugs me. But get this inside, then we're going to unfold the black section. Why can I not find the right end? There we go. And you rotate that up and bring it in. I want to make sure that this goes under that divot. Plug that together, rotate the foot, then you're going to rotate the leg, and then you sort of straighten the legs out, and then you want to turn the waist 180. Now up to the top where things get more hectic. So this one's already come undone, but essentially you want to untab the arms because they tab in here to the hood of the car where this little red tab is, right here, and then also to the side of his head under here. So you want to just wiggle these loose, there we go, like so, and bring his arms out to the side like so. And you can go ahead and extend the arms. You want to bring the thumb down on its ball joint like so, out of this little groove it's in. Then you can fold the hand outward and just adjust it however you so choose. I'm gonna rinse and repeat. Extend the arm, fold the hand out, just adjust it like so. Now, so for the back area, what we're gonna do is you're gonna fold these two, you're gonna fold these two taillight pieces down a little ways and fold this in. You want to flip the spoiler all the way up, and you're going to fold this in like so. I have no idea what just fell. Probably wasn't anything important. Fold these against that panel now and fold this up and underneath. Then you can start bringing this whole assembly down, and there are two tiny little tabs. Where's the blaster? It's so tiny it might be impossible to see, but it's in between these spaces. It's right here and right here. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see them, but there are little holes right here and right here. And you basically want to get those snugged into those holes, and it's going to take some fiddling to get everything inside the chest area to sort of line up. So, and the way I've found that you know you have it right is you want to make sure that the red piece is flush with his waist. You don't want a gap. So, and if you need a little more room, he does have an ab crunch you can use to sort of observe things. But once you sort of get a feeling for it, you can just push everything in. And yeah, you can see how it's sort of flush there, more or less. There is that. You also, I meant to do this before, but you want to make sure you push this piece out. There's a little screw on the back and you can just push it out. But yeah, it'll sort of push itself out. And you just want to bring it all the way out on this post, the sliding post. And then you want to make sure that that stays as straight as possible. But so now coming up to this part, you want to bring these out of the way, and you're going to fold these sides of the head up and around like so. And you're going to rotate this whole red section like so. Bring that down, and then bring this piece, fold it down, and you're going to sort of want to sit it here. Now, for these, you want to take these black pieces, and there's a little hole in it that's going to tab into these posts on the top of the spoiler. So you basically want to make sure that you see, I think you need to slide them, yeah, you want to slide them in towards the head and sort of wiggle that black piece on top of the spoiler piece. And this is the most annoying part. But you also got to try and fiddle it around his head. Okay, now you can see that it went through. Then we bring and fold this down, or just sort of leave that for a second and get the other one in place. Get his head off to the side. Want to get that in there, come on. Make sure that I've got it all the way in. And it's not entirely cooperating. It's easier to do it with, you know, getting some leverage on it when you bring it down, but it doesn't seem to want to let me sneak it in there. Okay, there it goes. Just magically decided to go in. Okay, now for the most annoying part is you gotta try and keep that piece we slid out on the post straight while you bring these chest pieces down and around it. And at first it might seem easy, but you also have to bring this little hook tab here on the bottom of the hood up and into this square slot, which is like basically his belly button. Trying to get those all to cooperate at the same time is not the easiest thing. Once you get it sort of hooked in there, you can just sort of push it in. Okay, it actually went in. Okay, and the shoulder piece popped up. If I can get this to cooperate. Doesn't want to. There we go. Okay, now they're in there solidly. His chest is in the right place. And there we have him in robot mode. And I gotta say, he looks pretty much perfect in robot mode. And his car mode is spectacular too. I don't really have any complaints with the way his car mode looks either. But yeah, it's the transformation's a pain in the butt, but everything else is great. Like, he basically has no backpack. Like, you can see for yourself. Like, all the extra car kibble, like, you know, origami folds up into his, you know, chest area. His chest compresses, you know. It's very clean in both modes. It's just that transformation's a little annoying. And it's not the worst thing ever. It's far from the worst thing ever. It's just, I have my issues with it, and, you know, I do worry about how it will hold up over time, but I cannot deny that his robot and car modes are pretty much flawless because of it. And this is my first DX9 figure. I've heard good things about them, so I didn't have any real concerns going in. And, you know, aside from those tolerance / you know, clearance issues, I don't have any complaints with the figure. Like, the plastic feels really solid, everything tabs together really well. You know, it's got some decent heft because he's got a couple die cast parts. It's his feet and, you know, these joints here on the hood. The only thing I would, you know, maybe want to see is, you know, a little bit more articulation in the hands, but he at least has some, so, you know, I don't really have too much to complain about there. But yeah, going over his articulation, his head is on a ball joint, so you get plenty of wiggly waggly. You get that whole 360. Do be aware that this little block behind his head will catch his chin. His shoulders can go up that far before colliding with the hood, but you can get a little bit more motion because he does have basically double jointed shoulders. Because there's a hinge in his chest and one in the actual shoulder. He does have a bicep swivel. He does have double jointed elbows. He has a ball jointed wrist, or not wrist, thumb that is also on a hinge. And he's got 2 finger hinges. All of his fingers are together, so you won't get like any index finger pointing or anything. But he can make a fist and whatnot, so there is that. He does have full 360 waist, and he does have a very significant ab crunch, which helps with the transformation, or rather because of the transformation. Hip skirts, you get up, and then the back one is one solid piece. You can kick that far forward, kick that far back before those butt vents, I guess, collide. You can get pretty solid splits. You do get a little over 90 degrees at the knee, and for better or worse, he does have a side to side in his knee joint due to transformation. It goes a little bit further than it needs to. You do get ankle tilts, and you can move his toe separately if you so choose to do that. And no real up and down in the toes, but it is what it is. Am I missing anything? I don't think I'm missing anything. And you can still pop up his headlights and flash people in robot mode if you want. If you're into that. But yeah, he does have, like I said, the shoulder launcher. There's a little post hole here. There's a post on both sides, so you can do whichever side you want. And there is also a little tab on the handle if you want him to hold it in his hand. But since it's his shoulder launcher, we're going to go ahead and put it on his shoulder. Getting it on and off is a bit of a pain though, because there's not a whole lot of room and the connection is rather snug. So getting it on there properly takes a bit of work, and then getting it off also takes a bit of work. So, but yeah, there we go. And it does have some motion to it. Then we'll go ahead and put this in his hand. Again, his tab, which they only have tabs on one side for holding in the hand. So this one will go in his right hand and the other will go in his left. But let's see, we'll just go ahead and tab this in, wrap his fingers around, and then just sort of bring his thumb up. Or, well, maybe it won't go up. But it is pretty secure in his hand. You know, tab slot connections aren't always the most secure, but this one definitely is. And now, as for the hammers, these actually do have tabs on both sides. Like I mentioned, they have extending handles. And if you want, you can take either piece off. They have these little pegs. What you do is you just unpeg his hand. Just wiggle that out. And then just squeeze that in. And there, now he has jackhammer hands. And yeah, you can have one of each or two of each. Or, you know, if you want, you can just open up his hand and put the, get that in there. And now it's hammer time. So yeah. So I forget where the peg is. I know what hands look like. I've drawn them before, terribly. Like every edgy high schooler. But yeah, so a decent amount of accessories that you can get. There is no storage in the vehicle mode. Just be aware that they don't even like tab in anywhere. There's not really any room for them to fit underneath. He's pretty well compacted in both modes. And yeah, I don't think there's anywhere to store the extra weapons in his robot mode. Don't think there's like anything on the back or anything, since there's not in his robot mode or vehicle mode. But yeah, you can pretty much have him holding everything. You know, if you put this on his other shoulder, you can have a hammer in both hands, so he can hold everything if you so choose. So there is that. And we'll do one last quick size comparison. Since I don't have a red sideswipe of the Generations mold, but I do have the War for Cybertron sideswipe. So. And we'll put them next to a different third party. Here I have the Unique Toys Blur, who I don't believe is supposed to be that much taller, but just for a little comparison. But yeah, again, both modes are absolutely phenomenal. Good articulation. The only additional articulation I would even want is maybe a bit more in the hands, but I can understand, you know, why they wouldn't, you know, go that far. It really doesn't take away from the figure. He's got plenty going on. He looks just so good, so clean, like completely slicked back. No extra vehicle kibble really hanging around that's not supposed to be there. He just looks phenomenal, and the car also looks really good. And one of the reasons I like Sideswipe and want to get more figures of him is because I really like his vehicle mode, as well as his overall color scheme. I am just noticing that his arms are a different, they're sort of a pale gray while his legs are actually white, but, you know, whatever. But yeah, the transformation is really the only place this figure does not shine. It does hold it back a bit. I think I'd have to give this guy an 8 out of 10, and those 2 points are entirely because of the transformation. You know, and you know, the fact that he doesn't come with instructions doesn't exactly help either. Pretty much, I watched MGo's video about it because his came out, I think, a couple weeks ago. But yeah, that is the only real complaint I have, is the transformation is a little bit weird. It's not the worst thing ever, but I do worry about how the figure will hold up over time, because it does feel like there's a lot of pieces that would break if strained too much, and they definitely strain during that transformation process. So he's probably gonna be more of a display character for me, because like, despite that transformation, he looks pretty much perfect. I can't stress that enough. He looks pretty much perfect. So yeah, I think that's about it for this review. I think I've rambled on enough. But yeah, I definitely would recommend this to any Sideswipe fans, and it definitely is, you know, my first experience with DX9 has definitely been overall positive. So I do look forward to some of their other offerings. But that'll be it for now. So this is Soul Prime 13 saying transform and soul out.